Norran Hussein. I'm a breast imaging radiologist from Cairo, Egypt, and a member of the SBI Social Media Committee. And I'm very happy to have with us today Dr. Priscilla Slanetz, who is a professor of radiology, Boston University, Trubanian and Avidizian School of Medicine, Vice Chair of Faculty Development, and also Associate Program Director of the Diagnostic Radiology Residency. She's also the Breast Imaging Fellowship Director at Boston Medical Center and Chair of the SBI Mentorship. Welcome, Dr. Slanetz. How are you?
Hi, I'm terrific. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. So there's a lot of buzz going on about the trainee track this year, and we're all very excited with it. So first of all, can you tell us a bit about yourself, and were you involved in similar like trainee tracks or trainee programs before?
Yes, so I've been a residency program director for quite a number of years now, and I'm also a fellowship director. Excuse me. And I've been responsible, really for training kind of the next generation of radiologists for nearly, I'd say, 20, 25 years now.
Wow.
And I haven't ever really been involved in a trainee track before, but I do think it's really important that we invest in sort of that future generation and really help prepare them as well as possible to be successful in their careers. And so when Dr. Moy sort of approached me about this kind of special program for trainees, I thought, what a wonderful idea, because there's so many skills that we need to succeed in today's world. And residency programs, do a really good job at training you to do clinical radiology, right?
Yes.
But we don't spend enough time on a lot of those non-interpretive skills, the leadership, the communication, conflict negotiation. And so I do think there's a real need for us to really prepare people to be successful.
So was there like a survey beforehand, or were there requests, or was it just like the committee, you felt the real need for this from your practical work?
I think it was more, I'm sure there has been some interest. I'm not aware of any particular survey, but I do feel that I think the leadership of the organization, as well as, myself and a few other members, such as Dr. Bonnie Joe and Dr. Jean Seeley, who are sort of co-directing the program with me, we all felt very, very strongly that this was actually an important time for SBI to invest in our trainees to a much greater extent and really provide them with this type of programming. And we've been really, really lucky. We've asked a lot of people to participate as part of it, coming from very different backgrounds, perspectives, private practice, as well as academics, as well as people at different stages in their career. And everybody has been really excited to be participating as part of it.
I was just going to ask you about that we can see quite an interesting group of speakers and panelists. So how did you choose all these people? How did you bring all these wonderful people together?
It was actually pretty easy, as I said. I mean, I've been involved in SBI for a number of years, and so has Dr. Joe and Dr. Seeley. And so we, obviously network quite a bit at the meeting. And, as we were developing the curriculum, we really, started thinking about who do we know in the society who really are experts in some of these areas. And we, really just reached out to them, and everybody, as I said, I don't think anybody turned us down. They were all like, this is great. I can't wait to be part of a panel. I can't wait to be able to, interact with the trainees. So, we're just really excited also to see how many trainees have actually signed up for the program. So it's going to be an exciting time on Saturday. I think it's Saturday afternoon that we're doing it.
Yes, we're all looking forward to that. So leadership is an important topic that should be included in any physician's training program. So can you explain more about its role in the trainee track program?
Sure. So leadership kind of, I think, really runs through all of the afternoon. And, as you've mentioned, it is obviously a very important skill to develop. And especially in breast imaging, where a lot of the work we do actually is not just caring for patients, but really advocating on behalf of our patients. And so it's really critical for the ongoing success of our profession that our future generation has the leadership skills. And so we've really focused on, you can't teach leadership in just one afternoon, but we really tried to focus on some of those key skills, developing strong communication skills, navigating conflict in the workplace, building teams, as well as personal branding, because I do think that comes into play as well. When you can brand yourself well, you develop kind of a niche and get known for a certain area of expertise, and then it becomes much easier for you to sort of really grow in your career.
Great. I think we have another panelist with us. Yes.
Excellent. Yes.
Hi.
There's Dr. Joe.
Dr. Joe, welcome to the interview. Can you hear us? There's an, can you hear us? There's an unmute button, yeah? As well, we can't hear you.
You may have to hit the mute button twice, because that's what happened to me.
Oh.
Yep. Okay.
Oh.
She disappeared.
Okay. So we'll wait a minute for Dr. Joe to join. Let me write a message. Okay. Let's just give it a minute. I think she might be trying to join again.
Yep, she said to keep going right now. Okay.
Okay. So the meeting agenda shows that you have included social media, which is very exciting for us, as one of the main topics. So do you see this as a significant component for trainee preparation?
So absolutely. I mean, it's one of the reasons we included it. I really actually never realized this until relatively recently, that navigating social media actually is much more important than people realize, because anything that you post out there is going to be there forever. But I think the more important thing about social media is also to realize that it's a really effective tool to sort of advance yourself and really get your brand out there. And that consistent messaging really can be amazingly helpful to your career. And whenever I think of social media, I don't know about you, but I think of Dr. Amy Patel, who's a breast imager who has really used social media to advance her career. And it's really been her platform for advocating on behalf of women and for early detection through screening mammography. And through that, she even has managed to become, an NFL fan of the year for the Kansas City Chiefs last year, and really has just amazingly increased her visibility through social media. So I think we all need to know how to navigate it. I'm not an expert at it, but I think bringing ourselves together and really talking about it and figuring out how to use it to our advantage is really, really important, especially in our field of breast imaging.
Yes, I agree with that, because as well, I use a lot of social media as well, especially Instagram, and I do a lot of awareness on that. So Dr. Joe, welcome to the interview. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Sorry, the browser is it's finicky, and my UCSF computer, they kind of care, I guess, about external sites. So I'm so glad to join in. Sorry to come in late. I'm trying to multitask today, but I really love that you're highlighting this trainee track, because it's the first year we're doing this, and thanks to Linda and Priscilla and Jean, it's a team effort. So really, really excited that you're promoting this.
We're excited too, and we're really looking forward to it. So how did you join the organization of the track, Dr. Joe? Why don't you tell us a bit about
So
that?
we were actually debriefing at the end of the annual meeting last year, and a few folks were commenting on how we would love to bring more trainees into the membership or into the meeting, and how can we do that? And so what the committee universally agreed upon was that we need some sort of formal programming for them. So this is credit to Linda Moy for not the minute she's got an idea, she's zooming and off we go. Like other people would say, sure, let's consider that for next year. Linda was like, okay, let's start doing this. So literally, I think days later, or even after that meeting was over, she's already chatting with me. And, and I have to also credit Toma Omafoy, who we had just done a presentation together. So we were in close proximity. So it was just it just happened naturally. It was organic. And this is the beauty of the SBI and being in person and talking with like-minded individuals. It just sort of grew out of an idea, and then it took off on its own. And it's definitely been a team effort. We just keep pulling people in, and everyone has been very generous with their time. So here we are. We've got the inaugural trainee track within, I think, 9 months of planning. That's amazing. So thank you, Priscilla, for helping out too. Like, you didn't say no when we reached out.
The three of us are a great team. That's what I was telling Norran, that we've really worked well together. And we have so many connections between the three of us because we've been an SBI member for so long that it's really been terrific. Nobody's ever said no. They're like, yes, I'd love to be part of that. So
exactly. We
great program,
everything
and great speakers. So could you tell us more about the prep for the board's first job preparation aspect of the program? Because that was, that really caught our attention.
Yeah. So this is what happens when you're trying to predict how other organizations are going to move along with you as you're planning. And this was because we had heard that oral boards were coming for the Americans, and then oral boards happen actually for the Canadians. So we had this concept of trying to get trainees to be interested because it's very practical, right? Because they have board exams coming up. Instead, what we're doing is we're trying to make it more general right now. So it's lifelong skills that they're going to need. They need to know content, but they also need to know how do you carry yourself as a consultant, and doing case reviews, case conferences, hot seat conferences like we used to do when I was a resident. That's good life training. So I think we want them to be comfortable. If you notice, there's that theme, like how do you present yourself? How do you sell yourself? Elevator speech, practice, and then same principles apply to present a case. And, it continues on. So we're hoping to keep hitting these core concepts or core life skills that develop you as a person and a professional. And I was thinking, these are things that I can use too. So I'm going to be listening in just along with the trainees and picking up tips from Amy Patel on how to use social media. Branding is important.
Well, when I saw the part of the first job preparation, I was like, I really needed that a long time ago. So that is really, really, it's a very needed subject, definitely, for the trainees.
Yeah, no, I think it's very, I was going to add to that. I think it's very challenging when you're looking for that first job. Everybody pretty much trains in an academic center, yet most of breast imaging is done out in the real world in private practice or private groups or in very different practice settings. And there's a real need for us to really help people understand sort of those steps as you're looking for that first job, and then sort of how do you look at a contract? How do you negotiate, for that first position? And how do you honestly really figure out, is this the right position for you? So I think that's also another area that I do think hopefully the trainees will find very interesting.
Yes, I hope so too. So the last component of the track, How to Sustain Practice in Breast Imaging, has a dedicated panel on mentorship. Can you elaborate more on its effect on trainees from your practical experience?
Sure. So what we did was each of us, Priscilla, Jean, and I, decided to take 1 hour of this track to really focus and develop it. So this last hour, it's sort of tying it all together because you want people to have a way to connect to the SBI, how to, having mentors is so critical, and then also sponsors. So we all have benefited from that. I certainly have. And I view this as my chance to give back to the SBI, but also to share that with the trainees. If you can connect with people, that's how you sustain practice. We also have some practical stuff on ergonomics, Dev Ikeda and Needy Sharma. They're going to talk about ergonomics, how to make sure that you don't injure yourself doing your breast imaging work. I know it sounds funny, but it happens, repetitive stress injuries. And then also how you advocate for yourself, knowing that most folks are going to be in private practice and you won't naturally have a community. So SBI is your community. That's kind of our message. And hopefully with the panel, we'll see that we're very accessible, that people are people. And whether you're in academics or private practice or hybrid practice, there are a lot of similarities, and we're humans. We need to connect. So that's hopefully the takeaway. And we're really hoping this will be inspiring and encourage these young people to join SBI, to become breast imagers, to keep connected with the society. So I have to admit, as an SBI member, we want that to happen. That's how we sustain ourselves as a subspecialty.
Right. And I think, mentorship is something that the society really values a lot. I mean, I chair the mentorship committee. And what's exciting is that we're working on developing this mentorship platform. So it's going to become easier and easier for trainees to connect with, more experienced members through this platform that will hopefully launch in the early summer. There's also going to be an opportunity, just so the trainees are aware, and one thing that I'd like to let people know about is that there's going to be a small group mentoring program that will be starting right after the meeting, and we're going to be recruiting people to join these mentorship groups. They're going to be focusing on like 6 different topics right now. So some of them really are very pertinent to trainees. Like one's going to be on scholarship and peer review. And Jen Harvey is going to be one of the senior mentors for this peer group that will meet longitudinally over the year. The others are going to be focusing on new division chiefs, fellowship directors, early careers. So there will be an early career group, one on financial literacy, a whole nother area that I think we as breast imagers need to learn more about. And then there's actually, for Bonnie Joe and I, a late career focus, which I'm thinking of joining personally, because I think we all need help as we're trying to figure out sort of that. Not that I'm retiring yet, but sort of where am I going to go and what are my options down the road? So I think it will be a really interesting small group experience for any trainees who might be interested in signing up. And there will be an opportunity at the meeting to do that as well.
That sounds amazing, Priscilla. I'm there with you. Thank you for that. So I know all of these efforts take work, but you see how wonderful you just get people with great ideas, and we express our needs to each other, and then we take action. Like, oh, I can do something about that. So, why not?
Yeah, it's been really, for me, it's been really fun working with Bonnie and with Jean Seeley, because, we don't always interact. We see each other at the meeting, but this has been giving us an opportunity to stay in contact throughout the year. So it's been great.
I think it's a wonderful idea, and I haven't seen it done in any other breast imaging specialty conference. So I think it's just wonderful, and I'm sure that next year I think it's going to grow even more. So we're looking forward to that very much. Dr. Slanetz and Dr. Joe, thank you very much for joining us in the interview. And we're looking forward to the Trainee Track program in this April.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for joining.